Bang, bang, bang. The axe hit the windows with precision. He didn't even spare the luxury cars. A single leg accurately struck the windshield before he casually walked away. Later, the man felt a wave of intense pain coursing through his body. It was evident that the millionaire was deliberately picking a fight. Yet he chose to remain silent when settling the bill. Faced with the humiliation from the millionaire, he chose to stay silent. John's life was on a countdown as he suffered from a terminal illness. The thought of leaving this world haunted him as he took out a box of eggs and aimed them at the windows of the millionaire's house. Along with that red sports car, John had a 3-year-old son who loved waiting for him by the window. The father and son understood each other well. Every time he came home, he would see his son waiting eagerly at the doorstep. No matter how much injustice he faced outside, a hug from his son would make everything fade away. John would then proceed to bathe his son, read him bedtime stories, and sneakily take his medication in the bathroom after putting him to sleep. Despite the unfairness of fate, John didn't complain. He just wanted to live a few more days to find a new home for his son. The first family interested in adopting Mike was a young couple. They possessed an ancestral mansion and an endless inheritance. Both highly educated, they valued children's upbringing and promised John that they would send Mike to an elite school. The second prospective family was a middle-aged couple. The man had been bitten by a dog, so they preferred rabbits as pets. Although they didn't own a dog, their daughter Anna would play with Mike. They were kind-hearted and seemed like a trustworthy family. John's condition worsened, with bouts of intense pain striking him from time to time. He tried to stay strong, attempting not to worry his son. Although Mike didn't understand the concept of death, he sensed that his father was not the same as before. Today was his birthday. His son placed 34 candles on the cake, symbolizing his father's age.
34 candles for 34 years.
Mike exclaimed. John hesitated. His words caught in his throat. His son picked up a candle and handed it to him. John's eyes filled with contentment. How he wished he could celebrate another birthday with his son. However, cancer, like an unforgiving earthquake, disrupted the gears within his body. When the gears ceased turning, life reached its end. The third family interested in adopting Mike was a single woman. Several years ago, doctors informed her that she couldn't conceive, so adoption was her best option. John grew increasingly weaker, easily dozing off even during the daytime. His son brought him a blanket and gently covered him. John's emotions teetered on the brink of collapse because his time was truly running out. In order to help his son adapt to the impending changes, John discarded his old pajamas and insisted that he wear new ones. However, Mike didn't like this, leading to a silent standoff between father and son. Early the next morning, Mike threw out his toys along with the new pajamas. John chuckled helplessly. Though it wasn't comforting, at least his son had learned to rebel, and they reconciled that evening. In this world, the relationship between father and son was like a pair of magnets, sometimes repelling, sometimes attracting, but neither could exist without the other. With little time left, John went alone into the wilderness, sitting under a big tree for a long time. Perhaps he had come to realize that death wasn't the end of life, but rather a warm continuation. John used the remaining money to take his son to an amusement park to enjoy themselves to the fullest. The father and son spent their final moments of joy together. Eventually, they had to face what was inevitable. In the dim light, John began to explain the meaning of death to his son. He wrote down all the words he wanted to say to his son in a letter. He tightly bound the thick letter and placed it in a plastic box, along with some precious photos. His 35th birthday candle, a mother-son picture. These items were his son's last memories. Early the next morning, John signaled for his son to ring the doorbell. John didn't choose the first adoptive family, although they could provide an elite education for his son. He wanted his son to have a happy childhood, so he chose a single woman. Despite being single, John believed she would take care of Mike well and love him unconditionally, just like himself.